Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks to you that are just joining here. We're going to start at 2 minutes after the hour, just so that everybody who is still connecting and dialing in has a chance before we start. So we'll be back here in just about a minute and a half. Thank you. All right, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday, and thank you for taking the time out today to join us here for the ICC webinar to introduce digital codes, code intelligence tools, and specifically a new service for quick consult. I am Dan Janicek, Director of Product Management here with ICC, and my co-host is Phil Anthony, our ICC Sales Specialist. Phil is going to be responding to questions in the chat. So I would ask, as we're stepping through the demo for the first half of this webinar, if you do have any questions or comments, go ahead and drop those right into the chat. And then at the tail end, we'll have an opportunity to review those questions and discuss them collectively as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just a note for everybody viewing this, the demo here is being led from our staging environment, but all of the functionality seen here is live and is available today from Digital Codes at codes.iccsafe.org. For those who may not be familiar with the platform, ICC's Digital Codes is the industry's largest and most trusted source of building code standards and more. To date, there are over 2,200 distinct titles available through the platform, many of which are available with additional features through the Digital Codes Premium subscriptions, which can be subscribed to across a multitude of different tiers. Premium Singles allows you to subscribe just to the titles that are of interest or relevance to you. Collections are going to be a pre-bundled group of titles of a similar topic or a similar location applicability. And our Digital Codes Premium Complete subscription offering is the largest set of content and features available through a single subscription service. And each of those offerings are available in monthly, annual, or 3-year durations. As a signed-in user, you can access all of that information and pricing from our pricing page. As a non-signed-in user, there will actually be a prominent subscribe button up here in the navigation that will take you directly to that page. Of the content available across the platform, the I-codes are the most widely adopted and used codes across the US, as are a number of custom location-centric titles where ICC has partnered with the state or local government to integrate their customizations, their amendments, or any changes to author that specific version for the locale. All of those different codes can be accessed from the main menu under the codes grouping, where we have the I-code standards, the location-centric, which is going to navigate you across all the states and our global opportunities or global categories, our commentaries, and then a lot of our resources, which further enhance and supplement the content. Everything from our commentaries, our Codemasters, Essentials, Code Notes, revision history, and study companions. All right. So while the content itself becomes the primary driver for a lot of uses and a lot of use cases here on Digital Codes, there are a multitude of opportunities where the content isn't enough for what the users need. There are follow-up questions or there are interactions necessary to understand the use case and apply it to a specific scenario for the end user. And that's where the premium code compliance tools or code intelligence tools come in handy. And that's where we're going to start with today. So as a signed in user, the first page you're going to be directed to is the ICC Digital Codes dashboard. The personalization here is going to pull out the titles that that user has viewed most recently. It's going to give you a specific tab to view anything that is inside of your Digital Codes Premium subscription. And it's also going to allow you to build a list of your favorites so that you can find these titles quickly and easily. With the favorites in particular, I will point out that you can access these from the main menu at any point as well. So it's a quick and easy way to pick up on subsequent visits to the site the titles that you are going to be most engaged with. The features in those intelligence tools start to become available not only from the main menu, but on the dashboard page here as a quick access launch point from the right-hand sidebar. When talking about the content, all of the chapters, all of the sections available are going to be accessible to users with premium subscriptions with the ability to interact to insert your notes. But where there are cases wanting to understand either how to find a code compliance requirement quickly and easily, or ask a question about how to interpret it for your effective use case, AI Navigator becomes a very valuable tool for that interaction exchange. And as we click through here, I will also point out that across the entire site, the primary navigation bar at the top also has the first option in the dropdown for AI Navigator as an efficient or easy to find way to get to this page from anywhere on the site. The ICC AI Navigator is created using an AI backend, and whereas public consumption AI is only as good as the information it's being fed in, what are oftentimes referred to as hallucinations when being sourcing content from anywhere on the internet, what it boils down to is the information provided back to the user asking the question may not always be accurate if the source that that content is coming from is not reliable. With ICC AI Navigator, that is not a concern as ICC uses a closed loop so that only the content that ICC has published in collaboration with the respective states or local governments is being utilized to source answers from the questions being asked by users with this tool. As a user landing here, you're going to see either recently asked questions for somebody who has already engaged with the tool, or you'll see some sample questions to get you started. And it gives structure to the amount of detail suggested for the most effective responses and ability for the AI Navigator to generate answers. We also have some tips here on the left-hand side, just talking about the fact the more context you provide, the more valuable and accurate the response is going to be. The system will allow you to ask any question you input, but you can see that short answers, like something if I were to just type egress, for example, the system's going to take that in, it's going to consider it, but it's going to prompt me to provide more details or try to structure an answer based on its interpretation or assumptions based on what I'm looking for. So this one in particular, even though I didn't give it a lot to go off of, it is going to make the connection that egress, I'm most likely looking for what the term means or how to apply it, and it's going to return the definition of the term egress for me. If I were to ask something more obscure, the system may come back by saying not enough details provided and ask me to enhance my question even further. Now landing here at the left-hand side is going to allow me to define the scope of my questions that the answers are being sourced from. The default is going to be the most recent version of the iCodes here, as we can see 2024. But by clicking the dropdown, I can see earlier versions or earlier cycles of the same iCodes that I can select. And what that's going to do is tell the tool to generate any answers being asked based on this grouping of codes. And I mentioned the iCodes as being the default, but you will notice the label here at the top is for jurisdiction. And that is because we have selectors here for all of the 50 states. And for those where an ICC custom set of titles is generated and published, it's going to clarify to the user that that is the content that the questions are going to be sourced from. So if I wanted to clear this out, and I'll go back to some of my sample questions, And if I wanted to select one of these for purposes of asking AI Navigator here, I can click that question. It's going to send this to the system. Using the thorough tuning that ICC has put together, it's going to compile a concise but accurate response to be beneficial to the user. And what you can see is as it generates this answer, the other really valuable piece is the references to the content that are used to generate this response from. So this answer is using the 22 California titles to source this answer. And in addition to the response itself inside of here, and once it finishes writing, this happens to be one of the longer ones. It's going to give me a couple of references. There we go. So our reference sections are going to let me know what passages within the titles that this answer was generated from. And clicking on any one of these will actually toggle that section directly from the code title so that I can review it right in the scope alongside the answer. And it even provides me some of the premium tools so that I can jump to this section quickly and easily. I can copy this to a clipboard for purposes of generating a citation or an amendment report. I can print this section, or I can quickly and easily share a link to it, or even bookmark it for my purposes where I can add a note and come back to it later. And then again, the jump to section allows me to read with more context the requirements of the sections, both preceding and following up this section for complete autonomy. And that's going to be true for each of the reference sections that are provided here, where just clicking on those is going to expand the content, allow me to view it right here in the scope. I can come down and I can ask a follow-up question from here, or again, as I had done just a moment ago, I can click clear, which is going to remove that question and bring me back to the starting point to allow me to restructure a different question. Any question I ask is going to allow me to change the scope of the question before generating it. And for those titles where ICC may not be aware of customizations or amendments at the local level, what the system is going to do is clarify to us what type of titles or what scope of content that answer is being sourced from. So in the case of Alabama, it's letting me know that the Alabama codes are using the I codes to generate a response from, whereas what we had just seen there with California, or if we were to select a state like Florida, this is where the users provided the clarity that these are going to be sourced directly from the custom titles that are specific to that state. And that is reiterated here from clicking on the location note, just clarifying what that means, but the user always has appropriate context. Okay. If I wanted to grab another sample question here, and assuming I'm an inspector, a design professional in the state of Florida, I'm going to ask a question here about two buildings being able to share an egress ramp. And in generating this answer, we're going to see one more time that the scope is going to be defined here from the Florida-centric titles, and the references here will be specific to those titles as opposed to the California-centric versions from the question before, or even the I-code titles that we had seen from my egress inquiry. So this one's going to churn over the content here. Let me refresh the best laid plans. Try that one more time. Oh. While it is generating that, I was just going to point out that the ICC AI Navigator utility is included with all tiers of our Digital Codes Premium offering. So both the free 14-day trial, as well as Premium Singles, Premium Collections, or Premium Complete does include the ability to take advantage of this tool. So let's see here, if we go back to the 2024 I codes. And it looks like we may be encountering some technical difficulties just in our staging environment here. Yeah, there we go. So We will circle back to this. The last thing that I wanted to show just around the responses, in addition to the reference sections, the user does have the ability to provide their input for each answer being provided by the system. And this information actually goes back in and helps to tune and make the algorithm, the AI chatbot, even smarter, so that if there are long answers or incorrect answers, the user being able to give the thumbs down vote actually factors into making the next iteration of that or a similar question smarter. Likewise, those that are viewed as positive answers are factored in for the structure and the quality of the answer, so the system continues to refine and improve upon itself. All right, so in addition to the AI Navigator, we also have our Premium Answers service. The starting point with this is going to be our Q&A database, which are commonly asked compliance questions that have been carefully researched and generated from the ICC team of technical experts. Many of these came from inquiries or questions from members just like yourself. And through the cultivation of these questions, we recognize there's going to be benefit beyond the individual that asks the question. So these are going to be expanded out and made available similar to AI Navigator across all tiers of our Digital Codes Premium service. So that the free trial, singles, collections, and complete can all benefit from this constantly expanding database of questions and answers. And what you will notice here is whereas the listing page gives us all of the questions in a searchable manner, meaning we can look for any topic of interest here. Typing in accessibility as an example is going to serve up any of the questions in the database that relate to accessibility. We also can filter by a specific title as well as a topic. So if there's particular areas of interest, we can take advantage of that to narrow down just to specific areas for our focus. And for the questions themselves, we have both the question and then the long form question, which provides additional context. And in clicking through, the user is able to view not only the full context of the question, but also that carefully crafted opinion from the ICC team. And similar to the AI Navigator, there's references here to the specific code title and section that this answer is sourced from. And so by having this reside inside of digital codes where all of this content resides and is accessible, the feature is able to take advantage of the cross-linking to take the user directly from that premium answer and bring them into the chapter in the section that this is relevant to. And as we look at this, whereas Insights is not one of the focuses for the webinar today, I do just want to point out that as users traverse the sections here, anywhere that you see an Insights tab next to the section title indicates that there's going to be additional content supplementing that passage as written to provide additional context or understanding. So this one in particular has blue text, which indicates a change since the last cycle of the I-codes. And any sections that have those changes, which would relate to the margin bars in our print offerings, we use color coding here in the digital nature, is going to have a code change details as well as a hearing video to provide even more context as to what that change was, along with the cost impact reason statement and any committee actions that followed it through the code development process. In addition to that, we even embed the hearing videos so that if you wanted to watch all of the testimony, either in support or opposition of this change, you have the ability to do so specific to that code change and the section that it impacts. And as it relates to this webinar today, I was going to point out that we also have the premium answers tagged to those sections. So whereas we had accessed premium answers from the menu on the dashboard page, you'll also be able to find relevant premium answers as you traverse across the chapters and the sections as they're tagged and can take advantage of them throughout. And if there is more than one question in premium answers that's relevant to this section, you'll see that you can quickly and easily navigate between them via the dropdown. And much like with AI Navigator, we constantly aim to elicit feedback to validate the value of the content being added to digital codes. So each one of these insights also has a feedback mechanism allowing the users to rank the value and the accuracy and the helpfulness of these questions. Right. The navigation up here at the top allows you to quickly and easily from the content page jump to the listing page and vice versa. All right. Additionally, you will notice that your recently viewed questions are queued up here in the right-hand rail, so that those questions, if you wish to return to them, you can quickly and easily find them from the stack of what you had previously looked at. And as I mentioned, we are constantly expanding what goes into our questions and answers database. New questions are being added every month. So the value of this service not only expands from a topical standpoint, but also the relevant titles that it's applicable to. So whereas the questions may be asked against the 2018 or the 2021 version of the building code, you can see in cultivating these answers and adding them to Digital Codes Premium, we're assessing the section as written in the 2024 version of the IBC, and if relevant, we're tagging it to that section as well. So the content grows with the titles as they continue to be updated. All right, so that's our AI Navigator and our Premium Answers Q&A database. The next smart intelligence tool or code intelligence tool that we're excited to introduce is our Quick Consult. Now, this is a new service that resides outside of our Digital Codes Premium subscriptions. This is a paid service where users are able to purchase credits, but it provides you access directly to the ICC team of technical experts to get a personalized exchange and an opinion generated to your question. So whereas AI Navigator provides you more of that instantaneous question and answer experience, QA Database allows you that carefully crafted research from a team of technical experts for existing questions or for publicly applicable questions. Whereas there might be more nuance to your scenario and that personal touch is required, Quick Consult now allows you to bridge the divide, and between these three utilities have multiple means to accomplish the clarity and the confidence necessary to enforce the codes correctly. So with the Quick Consult, the user signs in here. The structure allows the users to submit a question through a form-based interface, track the status of that question as the team of technical experts carefully considers it, generates a response, and then delivers it back to the user. And what you're going to see here is a sample answer in the formalized PDF, which is both branded with the ICC label and the fully structured code opinion, allowing you to deliver this to be it a building official or an individual you're providing an inspection for with the ICC backing and opinion as to how this scenario would be interpreted. All right, so I'm going to flip back here. It had redirected me to production, so that's where you'll notice the code stage. The reason I'm going back to staging here is I have a test account user loaded up with some of the credits already, but I did want to show that if a new user was to come to this site, the purchase credits is going to provide you the information necessary there. And we'll pull that one up from prod just so we can see what a new user experience would look like. And with the purchase credits, there's one of three options. 1 credit equals 1 question submission. And you can see that that is $195 and then discounted amounts available as you bundle and purchase more credits. Each of these questions is submitted to the team of technical experts and provided a response within 2 business days or less. So it's the speed as well as that personal touch that this service really aims to deliver on. All right, so with an available credit, what I'm going to see here is this Ask New Question CTA available to me, whereas if I didn't have credits, that would not be available. And then as a user who has engaged with this service already, what you're going to see as we scroll down is all of your open questions, whether they're awaiting a response or already have been provided a response, are going to be listed out in a similar look and feel to what we had just seen with the Premium Answers Q&A database structure. So with these, for example, this one, which I submitted earlier today, just as a placeholder for this review, allows me to see the question and the context. It also allows me to see what code title this was relevant to. But you'll notice there's no answer yet provided as it's awaiting a response from the team of technical experts. Whereas if I scroll down a little bit further and I open one of these that's already been answered, what I will see here is additional information delivered right through the web interface with the answer from the team, the ability to download my personalized PDF with the opinion specific to this question, as well as references as those get added in to the respective code sections based on the technical experts correlation. The other piece, and we're going to review this in just a moment here, is the collaboration opportunity, so that once a question is submitted, if there are additional points to clarify or ensure that the response can be researched and generated accurately, I not only have a chance to provide those clarifying points to the technical experts, but they have the opportunity to ask those clarifying questions of me throughout the process. So I'm going to come back here, go to my quick consult, and what I'm going to do is generate my form, and I'm going to ask a new question. And I'm going to come here, and because AI Navigator wasn't able to give me a clear path forward, I'm going to ask this question again around 2 buildings being able to share an egress ramp. The current scope of our quick consult is going to be all ICC I codes and standards. So whereas these are not required fields, I am provided values that I can select from any of the available titles scoped for being able to ask my questions across. And it is encouraged to fill as much of this information out as possible, just to support the team of technical experts with being able to start on this question as soon as they receive it. If there is any obscurity, that's where they're able to ask those questions through the commenting functionality in order to get to the root of the scope that the question is being asked for. And in the case that I do ask a question that the ICC team of technical experts are not able to articulate or provide a response on, they would be able to respond to that in the comment field, and my credit would be returned to me, allowing me to either restructure my question and ask it a different way or against a different title, or for me to ask a different question entirely. All right, so for this one in particular, I'm going to fill in my short question, and then I'm going to provide some additional details. Just because I'm sourcing this from a previously asked premium answer from the Q&A database, you'll notice it was structured for the 2021 IBC. So I'm just going to refine that, but I'm going to give the tech services team as much of a lead as I can. So I'm already aware of what title and what section it is it's talking about this, but I want to clarify what that actually means for my use case here. So although they're separated, I want to know if they can share the same egress ramp. If I had an attachment, be it a PDF, a document, or a blueprint to further show the project that I'm considering, I would have the opportunity to upload from my local device here and attach that with my question. And then I'm prompted here to review the terms of service, which just articulates that these are opinions being generated by ICC, and that all of this is suggested to validate with the authority having jurisdiction. All right, so when I go ahead and click submit then, what it's going to do is confirm that the process has been initiated with the 2 business days. I do receive an email receipt so that I have a copy as well of all the question details as well as next steps. And I'm going to be able to follow the status of that question right here inside the system, where I can then open this up. And if I did want to add any comment here, I can say also applicable to 2021 IBC. So I can try to confirm that with the team so that as they're putting this together, I notice the 2024 is the latest, but I want to confirm that whatever answer this is going to be relevant for the 2021 as well, as I may be working with the jurisdiction in the process of updating their adoptions. All right, so that information is provided alongside the question to the team of technical experts to begin their research. Now, off screen, I am going to advance this question as a technical expert. So what I'm actually going to do is within our system, I'm going to pick up this question. I'm going to respond to this so the user sees that I did acknowledge their comment. Just going to note that that is relevant to the 21 IBC as well with what I'm about to start. And I'm going to transition this to in progress and assign it to myself. And what that's actually going to do is initiate an email to go out to this user so that they know the process has started and an individual has been assigned to start this task. So if I were to hit refresh here on the front end, not only am I receiving an email to alert me of the status change on this ticket, but in directing me back to this screen, I can see now that the ICC team has responded, noted, and we'll consider this for the answer. And this has been, I'll refresh this one more time, has been transitioned to in progress. So it lets me know that this has moved to the second of the 3 states within my cycle. All right, so I can come in here. I can provide any additional clarification or just a confirmation. Thanks for taking it into account. And at this point, if there's no additional clarifications necessary, I would have the up to 2 business days that ICC is carefully considering the question and cultivating the response. I'm going to fast track all of this, again, off screen within the system where these are being generated. Drop those in along with our reference link. And I'm going to move this forward to resolved. So again, with this moving forward, what I would be receiving an email letting me know that an answer has been provided to your question, and it's going to direct me back to my quick consult listing page here. So as I scroll down, the question that I'm looking at, I notice now the status has been updated to answered. As I use the tabs here, I can filter between these as well. So if I wanted to see just questions of a particular status, I have the ability to do that at any point. And note that anything that is answered continues to be available for me so that I'm not bound with any specific time period of being able to refer back to my carefully crafted answer or to retrieve my PDF file for whatever purpose may be necessary. So this one in particular, we can see from the ICC team, they are acknowledging. The response here happens to be for the 2021, so they would have been a little more articulate than I was in populating this, that it would be the 2021 and 2024. But as we read through this, the ultimate takeaway is that this would be allowed. There is nothing prohibiting that egress ramp from being shared of the two buildings. And what I see down here are the references to the relevant sections in the 2024 building code. So again, I'm able to make that connection to the content that I can find that cross-linking back and forth. And then additionally, I've got these comments. With the answer being provided to me, I have a 48-hour window that I can ask clarifying questions around this response just to make absolutely certain that I have the answer and the confidence or the confirmation necessary here. And the ICC team of technical experts will continue to respond to that. And then I've got my PDF here. So this is going to generate the branded document with my questions and that formalized ICC code opinion that I can bring to whatever scenario or individual necessary to understand and apply this service. Okay. And we will notice that if I go back to the front, I had 5 credits. So that was the one other piece is as I submitted my question, my credit balance here is reduced by 1, but those additional credits I have continue to be available. Those are valid for a full calendar year from the time those credits are purchased. And I have the ability to restock with additional credits here at any time. All right, so I will pause there. And Phil, do we have any questions in the chat?
No, just some basic ones that have been answered. So no one has posted anything. If there are questions, feel free to post them and we'll interrupt Dan and have time at the end if you want to ask them verbally. We'll unmute mics.
All right, fantastic. So this is a very valuable utility. We do have sharing feedback links available across all of these tools, both Premium Answers and AI Navigator. So whether it is through the trial or taking advantage of the quick consult with a purchased credit, we do encourage any thoughts, comments, or opportunities for improvement to be shared as you're stepping through the tool. And again, the value of this continues to be the growing set. With Quick Consult in particular, this current iteration, which just went live, is limited or is focused around the ICC titles with plans in the future to expand the scope of titles and content included within the Quick Consult questioning. Okay. The ICC AI Navigator and Q&A database are both available in the free trial. So for those on the call that are interested, I would encourage signing up for the free 14-day trial so that you can review all this yourself. And as mentioned, the Quick Consult service is live. These are available for purchasing of credits. This can be found through the banner on the homepage with the Quick Consult, or from navigating under Premium Tools to our Premium Answers feature page, and then selecting our Quick Consult tab. All right, we'll hang around here in case there are any questions that come up as we continue to step through this. Otherwise, if there are questions even that come up after the fact, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. And again, thank you for taking the time to get up to speed with some of our new code intelligence tools being added to Digital Codes Premium.
All right, thanks, Dan. I'll stop the recording here, and this will be sent to all registrants. I will stay on here to answer any questions if you want to post them in chat. If anyone has any questions for Dan while he's here, go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll call on you. Otherwise, Dan will escape out here and start other projects improving the Digital Codes Premium platform that we always do. So I'll mute. I will stop recording here. Thank you for attending, but I'll still stay on the line if you have questions.